It shouldn't be you there crossing them over the finish line and then asking for cheers. Look at this. Look at this physique. I did this. This is my work. Worship me. Guys, what are you doing? Vigorous Steve here. I wanted to take this video to explain why I never post the before and after pictures of my clients, whether those are clients that I currently work with or clients that I worked with in the past. I never post the before and after pictures on my Instagram because I don't want to take credit for another person's hard work. Now, it would be good for business, right? To post the before and afters. And then everybody gets to see what some of the practices that I always preach, did you see here on YouTube, could result into post the before picture before they signed up for coaching and then the after picture, and you can see how phenomenal they look and create a little bit of false expectation, maybe even a little bit of false advertisement. And now you expect that you're going to look the same way as this other guy. But a before and after picture doesn't tell you how hard this person worked. A before and after picture doesn't tell you what the blood work changes were. And sometimes the before and after picture look exactly identical, but the blood work improved significantly. But who is going to post their entire blood work online nowadays besides me and a couple other educators in the fitness industry? Not everybody feels comfortable to put their blood work online, especially not the before and after with pictures attached. And I've seen it in many cases with the clients that I've worked with. They came to me in an unhealthy state, running a boatload of anabolics or peptides or, whatever else we can choose from in the wide selection of performance-enhancing drugs that we have at our disposal. Their blood work is not so good, and I put them up to the challenge. Why don't we maintain this physique on a 10th of the dose while we get your blood work back to a perfect state of health? And then the before and after picture would be unexciting. You would look at it and say, this guy looks exactly the same. Nothing has changed. Steve, what are you doing? Well, we were working on his health. And the health you don't really see in a before and after picture because the physique has not changed much. Maybe more hair growth occurred. Maybe their skin pigmentation improved so they don't look so drained and fatigued and unhealthy, right? But the muscularity might have stayed exactly the same. And maybe the body fat distribution stayed the same as well. Maybe they're even a little bit more watery and they actually look worse. But their blood work is infinitely better. And again, you can't always see that with a before and after picture. Now, the main reason why I don't post them is because, again, I don't want to take credit for another person's work. People hire me for a specific reason. They want me to provide a roadmap or a recipe for them to get healthy and attain their goals. But they're doing all the grocery shopping and the cooking and the dicing and the meal prep and the dishes afterwards. They're doing all the hard work. And I don't feel inclined to take credit for that because they hired me. I'm doing my job. Now, I'm always grateful when a client posts a before and after picture or a current physique update and tags me and thanks me publicly. But for me, it's not really required. Again, I'm just doing my job. And, considering the amount of people that I turn away that come to me for coaching, because I'm kind of full. I've been full for a while now. And even if I keep increasing my rates, I'm still full. There's still plenty of guys that want to work with me. And I just pick and choose. I pick and choose the guys that I want to work with. If they have good blood work and they seem dedicated and they've reached a particular amount of, or they reached the point of having a developed physique, and I feel I can contribute to that physique and their aspirations and improve their blood work, or at least maintain their good blood work in the process, then I will take them on as a coaching client. But I'm not going to take credit for it. Some guys are with me for 3 months. Some guys are with me for over 10 years. Never missed a payment, but also never thanked me publicly. And I honestly don't mind. I completely understand. Because some of these clients, they're in fields where performance-enhancing drugs is kind of frowned upon. And they would be guilty by association. Because I talk about performance-enhancing drugs openly and have so for a very long time. Whether that was when I did my first cycle, people would ask and I would just say, yes, I'm on test. and maybe a little bit of Arimidex, and I'm going to add in the Winstrol and the Clenbuterol in later. I was just open about it. But some people are not open about it. They would like to keep that privately, and I completely understand. So they can never mention me publicly. Of course, they would thank me privately through Signal or Telegram or Proton Mail. But they could never mention me publicly, whether because they're a wrestler or a movie star or maybe a politician or wherever field that they're in that they can't talk about PEDs, hormone replacement, enhancement openly. Those guys I've been with for a very, very long time. And I will continue to keep those relationships private for their privacy. And again, I like to keep these guys on for another 10 years, maybe 20 years or so. And some of my bodybuilder clients that still compete in drug-tested federations and are subject to random or in-competition drug testing, I learned a long time ago that it's better to keep that coach-client relationship private. And when I say private, I mean very, very private to the point of secrecy, because unfortunately, in some of the drug-tested federations, the other coaches or the officials, they're a little bit butthurt or jealous, or they simply don't like me. Unfortunately, so I keep that coach-client relationship very, very quiet. I don't mention who I coach in a drug-tested federation because I don't want these guys to be subject to a random drug test or get picked for a drug test in competition, even though in most cases they hire me to beat the drug test and for safer practices along the way to the competition. But I learned a long time ago just to be quiet and let them take all the accolades and the praise and the first medal, gold medal, first place, second place, third place, whatever place they end up at, they will get all the credit. And I just wait for the direct message to arrive saying, thank you so much, Coach Steve, for everything. And then a laundry list of compliments. That's usually more than enough for me. And we keep that coach-client relationship going and private to the point nobody knows. And I've always set myself apart that way because the clientele that I get, sometimes it's not the client that contacts me. It's an agent or a manager or something in between. So, it might be helpful for you as a coach not to post those before and after pictures because the clientele that will approach you is going to be different from the general population bodybuilder crowd that needs to see a before and after picture as some sort of resume, right? But when you look at the before and after picture, it doesn't tell the full story. Like I mentioned before, some guys are on a boatload of drugs, comparing the before and the after picture. Some guys just have awesome genetics, and it's certainly not representative of what that particular coach is able to achieve with clients with not so good genetics. So again, a little bit of a false advertisement and perhaps false expectations for you as a potential client. And sometimes there's a little bit of photoshopping involved. Right? There's Lightroom and Adobe Photoshop, and they're very good at hiding flaws or spiking particular body parts. Look at what we've done to bring up his biceps. Again, could be Photoshop, could be site enhancement oil. If the coach is very knowledgeable for that, okay, we'll give him some credit because site enhancement oil is, messed up more than it's applied properly. And, just to clarify, I'm not really for site enhancement oil. I've never tried that myself. I've been around people who've used a significant amount of site enhancement oil and even administered site enhancement oil to particular people. But I've never used it myself, and I certainly don't spike body parts of my clients. We'll bring those up the old-fashioned way. Yeah, with hard work. Oh, it sounds so boring, right? Yeah, but, that's usually what it takes. Well, at least if you work with me. Now, with these before and after pictures, don't get bamboozled, guys, because it looks very, very appealing. But again, it might not mean that you would get the same results working with this particular coach. Or your blood work might look astronomically worse. Again, sometimes a lot of drugs are involved. And even though you look in the mirror, you think you look freaking awesome. Then you go in for blood work, like I've shown a couple times on this YouTube channel. And then the blood work makes you feel sick to your stomach, even though you feel good on the inside. But the blood work, all the numbers are off, and you're like, was this really worth it? All right. So again, the main reason why I don't post those before and after pictures is simply because I don't want to take the credit for another person's hard work. The time investment involved as a coach is not as much compared to the time investment that's involved for the client. And really, these clients are paying top dollar, and they shouldn't be forced to put hashtags on social media saying team so-and-so or being coached by at blah, blah, blah. Really, it's not required. The duty as a coach is to get the client to their goals, hopefully in a healthy state or a better state of health. And again, the health and results are always a bit of a trade-off. So it depends, if you're competing in top-level competitions, you might have to sacrifice a little bit of health to get that first-place trophy. But if you're just doing a body recomposition, you should be in a better state of health by the end of it, or a good state of health by the end of it. And again, the before and after pictures don't always tell the full story. It's your job as a coach to get your clients to the finish line. And when they get to the finish line, and they perhaps make a new goal for themselves, it shouldn't be you there crossing them over the finish line and then asking for cheers. Look at this. Look at this physique. I did this. This is my work. Worship me. Guys, what are you doing? Really? It should be, look, this is my client. You applaud. You applaud because the time investment as a coach is not as much as the time investment of the client. Now, for a potential client out there, do your due diligence researching a coach. And before we wrap up this video, let me put it like this. I'm sure many of you guys have been to a fast food restaurant and you look at the menu and that hamburger looks so good. Looks so tasty, very juicy. You order the hamburger, you pay the full amount, you get the hamburger. And it's about half the thickness, it's soggy, and certainly doesn't taste as good as you expected it to taste like. That's almost the same as before and after pictures with particular coaches. They only put the good before and after pictures of maybe 10, 20% of their actual clients. Let's say they have 200 clients, and they only put 20, 30, maybe 40 clients before and after pictures. And the other 200 or the other, 160 clients that they give a lot less attention to because they're simply too flooded and they take everybody. They only put before and after pictures of the clients that are, genetic freaks or willing to abuse the drugs and look absolutely freaky. False advertisement, and you might not get what you expect. So there's always due diligence and research involved before you hire a coach. And honestly, I take those before and after pictures. If you see an Instagram page with only before and after pictures, you don't even see the coach themselves because, honestly, a coach should look like what they preach. At one point in their lives, they have particular practices, and at one point they should look good, especially if you're in physique sports, if you're a bodybuilder coach. At one point, you should look good. And if you can't get results practicing what you preach with yourself, why should anybody hire you? Honestly, but that's, the way I look at it. Maybe you don't look at it that way, but I feel, in my opinion, at least the coach should have particular phases in their lives where they look phenomenal or good or applied what they practice that they're preaching. And whether that came from experimentation or research they did later on, coaches should be open about what they did wrong, and what they learned along the way. And then you, as a potential client, can do your research and see, you know what, this guy does practice what he preach. And this guy does know what he's doing. And maybe some of his clients look absolutely phenomenal and some of his clients don't get good results. Hopefully I can fit somewhere in the middle where I have no idea what these, his clients look like in my case, probably. Most guys have no idea who I'm coaching and what my clients look like. Besides the 50 or so clients that I'm coaching right now, they certainly know what they look like. Some of those might be watching this video. Like if you do. So those before and after pictures I would see as a huge red flag because, again, it doesn't represent the entire spectrum of the client base that particular coaches have, and you might not get the same result. Go through the social media, go through the YouTube, go through the Instagram, go through the website. Listen to the general consensus of this person's intellect and ability to coach. Because, again, not all coaches will reply to you within 24 hours, unfortunately. Also something you can't piece together from these before and after pictures. Does the coach reply within 24 hours? Does he reply as soon as I send a message? Not 3 days later or a week later or never. And that happens a lot too, where some coaches take your money and then they disappear. Disgusting. But hey, it's the fitness industry. There's not too much regulation. So again, due diligence is advised. Do your research. Whatever before and after pictures you see, it's not going to be, it's not going to matter for your results, because you're going to have to put in the work. You're going to have to do all the training and the dieting and the health supplementation and perhaps performance enhancing drugs and the blood works and additional screening methods to keep yourself in a perfect state of health. Maybe your client or maybe your coach doesn't even know how to do that, and then you end up consulting with me. That happens many, many times. I'm consciously aware of what other coaches are doing and how unhealthy they're keeping their clients. This video is getting way too long, so I'm going to leave it at that. This is the main reason why I don't put the before and after pictures. I just talk about myself, the good and the bad, and you guys can make a decision if you want to sign up for a coach-client relationship or not. Again, the decision is yours. I really hope this helps, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're looking for the most comprehensive guides to bodybuilding pharmacology, you can find the ebooks on my website, vigoroussteve.com/shop. Looking for personalized advice? You can find the rates to my services, coaching, or consultations in the services section. Contact me directly if you're interested through the contact form on the website or on Instagram at VigorousSteve. Vigorous crew. Some of my clients, you're automatically part of the Vigorous crew. Vigorous crew and clients, you guys are freaking awesome. You guys know what to do. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.